There we go. I'm going to wait until all of you are joining in. Let me see. Nobody is in the waiting room. Hi, hello, and welcome to one more session of Smartlead's Office as Beautiful People. My name is Akash, your customer success manager here at Smartlead. Before we start the session, we always want to start the session with the audience. So drop on the comments. You see this chat icon at the center bottom of your screen. Click on that, drop on your comments, where you're from, the temperature in your city, and also let us know if you're an agency, a freelancer, or a SaaS company. Again, center bottom, chat icon, click on that, drop the comments. Love it. Welcome, Jen. Welcome, Jean, Manila,
I was in
Spain.
Manila 2 weeks ago.
Right. G280 agency, freelancer. Italy, Texas, global audience as always. Love to see this. Keep it coming, people. But now, moving on to the real reason why we are here. Cold emails isn't just for booking demos. When you actually use it creatively, it can open doors for podcast appearances, partnerships, and non traditional lead generation as well. So, in this session, Michael Gardiner will break down how he uses cold email to start high value conversations beyond sales while still growing pipeline and revenue. And for those of y'all who don't know Michael has 11 years of experience building and selling B2B marketing companies and now runs DFY Meetings and Grow B2B, where he specializes in creative, scalable outbound systems. Michael is also currently operating from Thailand. So if any of y'all are from there, drop in a hi. Michael, over to you, sir. A quick round of introduction, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. Excited to be here and share a little bit about what I do with Cold Email. Cool to see that there's people from literally everywhere, which is great. I see one person from Florida. I'm from Florida. Someone from Manila. I was just in Manila a few weeks ago. Yeah, cool.
Love it.
Well, Akash, should we go ahead and jump into the presentation then?
Absolutely, Michael.
All right, let
Floor is
me
yours.
flip the screen share, and then I'll get a quick confirmation that everybody can see my screen okay, and we will get into it. How
100%.
about that?
Big and
You can
clear.
see all right?
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining. And Akash, thank you for having me. Again, I'm excited to be here and share a little bit about what I do. Now, I feel like a little quick backstory for the presentation. So I've been doing cold email for 11 years, which makes me feel old. When I first started cold email, if somebody didn't answer me, I would get a response a week later that said, "Sorry, I missed your email," because cold email wasn't a thing. I was manually sending emails from my personal email address, and deliverability did not exist. It was just sending emails. So cold email has changed a lot. And if you're like me, I'm actually not that techy. I'm reasonably techy, but I've always been like a creative marketing relationship sales guy. And sometimes seeing like every topic being around deliverability be like a little bit too non-creative. So I have over time consistently looked for ways to like use my creativity in cold email where it's not just pure tech and how much volume can you send. Now I still do that some. Most of these are client services also. So just quick background again, been building agencies for a decade. I've worked with over 300 companies ranging from startups. We've added a couple of Fortune 500 companies, partnerships, Smartlead and Clay. I currently run Done For You Meetings. That is our agency. And then also have a small consultancy called Grow B2B. I live in Chiang Mai, Thailand, but I am American from Florida. If you happen to be in Chiang Mai, do say hi. Happy to grab coffee. Built and sold three agencies, first being influencer marketing agency, marketing consulting franchise. Also a wannabe and relatively mediocre business YouTuber. I've done a couple of million online sales. So that is my intro. So out of the way, what are we going to cover today? We're talking about how to use cold email outside of just sales and for indirect sales. The goal of all this is to make money, but not just, hey, book. 11 years of doing virtually every type of marketing you could possibly imagine, there is nothing that converts better than when you combine direct mail with cold email, which is hilarious because direct mail is very old school. Cool. So let's start. First thing I want to talk about is cold email. You probably tested it. There's probably 3 or 4 categories where like there's so another thing is if you're in a industry or service that's ultra competitive cold email, you might not even know because you don't have access to the same data that I do for my agency or like Akash does with Smartlead having however many users they have. So I've managed cold email campaigns for a lot of people. I have consulted with even more, and I've group consulted with thousands. So I get access to all this cool data, and I happen to know what's competitive, what's not competitive. And hopefully today we're going to break through some of that noise with high-level strategies and also some specific tangible campaigns that you can break through. So first, I want to answer one thing, which is who doesn't need to be creative? Because some people actually don't need to be creative with cold email. The first is people with extremely competitive offer the market is genuinely begging for, which is probably not you. We have a couple of these clients, but out of about 500 managed campaigns for this is like 20, 15. Second is people in industries or businesses that don't really use cold email. For example, our best performing client, which like his campaigns are so good that we never think about deliverability. And like our cold email copy is the most basic copy you could possibly imagine. He sells an industrial component to facilities managers and janitorial managers of large warehouses. Like no one else in his industry does cold email. He can do whatever he wants. Third is people with obnoxious social proof. We've managed to have like a couple clients that are like celebrity level where they don't need to be creative, but like you're not Alex Ramosi, I'm not Alex Ramosi, so tough luck. And if that is you, first, I'd love to run your cold emails. And second, you can still benefit from today. So, side note, it's going to be especially important today if you are in a low barrier to entry competitive business, which I've been in some of these, insurance broker, ads agency, especially if you're targeting income, go high level bros. I'm talking to you, YouTube editing, website design, or email marketing agency. The list goes on. These are some of the ones I see a lot. So, topic one, we are going to go over of 3 topics. That is going to be how do you use cold email outside of just sales, or at least a little bit indirectly. And this is a pretty fun topic. I skipped forward a slide. 1 second. Let me go back. Okay, here we go. So first, what is a cold email? Because I think some people think cold email is just, hey, I'm going to go ahead and pitch people directly. It's not. It's just an unsolicited message. You could do whatever you want in a cold email. You could cold email someone and say happy birthday. If no call to action, it's still a cold email. So you do not need to pitch immediately. And there's a lot of cool ways to go over how to use cold email. Indirect, not salesy. So talk about getting on podcasts, about building referral partnerships, and what we call the interview acquisition method. I have gotten a lot of clients from all 3 of these. First one is getting on podcasts. If you look at my name, this is some of the stuff that comes up on Google Images, just an easy way to showcase it. I've been on over 100 podcasts, and I'm not famous, I'm not uber successful, and I'm not even that interesting. I just reach out to podcasts and ask to get on them. So why get on podcasts, and how can we use cold email to do this? Well, first, cold email does generally require some level of social proof. The same way you're not going to go to a restaurant that has no reviews on Google, the same way you're not going to hire a contractor that has no reviews on Yelp. You need to have some social proof. When people get a cold email, you are probably not the only one cold emailing them, unless you're selling to facilities managers of warehouses, which you're probably not. So people are going to look up you and your company name. And if you can have an obnoxious amount of results to come up for your company name and your name, it's going to skip past the whole stage of, hey, maybe I want their thing, but do I trust them? So there's that payoff indirectly with your ads, with your cold emails, with your organic content. People can find you online. And then second, also, if you get on the right podcasts, you can actually get clients from them. One thing that's great about podcasts, just like YouTube, is the shelf life is very long. That means I am getting calls from podcasts I was on 3 years ago. I get nothing from a LinkedIn post, Instagram post, or tweet from 3 years ago. Unfortunately, the shelf life just isn't there. So how do you get on a podcast? And we have a lot of things to cover in this presentation. Almost all of them are tangible. Akash, there will be a replay available, yeah, so people can always come back to it. So
Absolutely.
some of these I might speed through, but I'm speeding through it for the sake of having time for Q&A. So how do you get on a podcast? I'm not going to cover like how do you build a list. You probably know that, but I'm going to talk high level. First thing we want to do is make a list of podcasts you want to be on. We just want to make sure the audience is a match to your service, and the other guests of a podcast should be around your level. As much as I would love to be on the same podcast that have like, the biggest business people in the world, I'm not that interesting on that level. So I'm going to be realistic and build a list of podcasts that have my audience, that have guests that are reasonably my size when it comes to my story, success, whatever. I then check all those sites, and I don't do this myself, my VA does, but you can do it or your VA. I then check all those sites for application forms, and if they have them, I apply through them. A lot of the times it's as simple as applying for a form. Even if they have a form, I am also going to email them. And if they don't have an application form, I'm going to scrape ideally the podcast host email, but if not, a generic email from their company. And then I cold email them, which we'll go over more in the next slide. And by the way, the first podcast is the hardest, but later when you've been on other podcasts, those podcasts act as like your case studies, like, hey, I've been featured on X, Y, and Z as well. So how do you cold email a podcast actually? This is the template I use, and it's pretty personalized. Again, my VA personalizes this. If you're really techie, AI can probably do it, or you can handwrite it. I say hi first name, personalization about their podcast tied to yourself. Essentially, I'm connecting myself to it. Hey, first name, having been in cold email for 10 years, I love hearing the conversations about how others are using it outside of just what I do. It's great to see different perspectives. I noticed a lot of guests had similarities to myself in terms of running cold email agencies or having a business YouTube channel, whatever that connection point may be. If you're searching for guests, I'd love to provide value on topics, more specific the better, email deliverability and Outlook, how to use cold email to get on podcasts, whatever it may be. And I'd be happy to promote the episode to my audience and then include the details of your audience. Do you have a podcast applicant form? We'll be okay to send over more details here. Thanks. It's a really easy cold email because we're not directly selling anything. Podcasts are looking for guests, and my conversion rate is surprisingly high. Normally, I have to email about 5 to 15 to get somebody to consider me for a podcast. Now, a big note on that is making sure the audience is a match to who you are. Sometimes I see people do this, and the problem is that they're just going after podcasts that are way too big. So that is how I get a podcast. We have a lot more methods to go over, but honestly, if you're like, man, that was short, it's simple. Like, it's really not that hard to do. I would bet most people here haven't done this, and it's something that doesn't really take much preparation. Like, you could build your list of podcasts this week, you could email them next week and be on a podcast by the end of December. And that is going to pay off indirectly in terms of when people look you up, and then also directly sometimes. Akash, any notes on this before I jump to the next thing?
Nope, not at all, Michael. While we're talking about cold emails, I think one common topic in the chat has been open rates and click rates. So there are people who have 100% open rates but 0% reply rates, and that seems to be a common problem. We are telling them what to do, but would love to hear from you.
I don't track open rates. So, yeah, I look at reply rate. So the thing is, like, if open rate's job is to tell you if people are seeing your emails, reply rate should be the same thing because you should at least like 1% of people telling you to go away, right? If no one's telling you to go away, your emails probably aren't being received. So yeah,
Awesome.
open rate bad. Um, so cool. All right. So referral relationships and partnerships. The second way that we do indirect sales with cold email for the first topic here is building referral relationships and partnerships. Now, there are three different types of referral relationships and partnerships I build. The first is a classic referral partnership where you have the same customers as me, you sell website design, I sell marketing, let's refer people. Second is a software partner program or software partner directory. You can find me on Smartlead's directory and multiple other software directories, or you can find me doing things like this right now for Smartlead. And the third is course or community guest speaking and posting. Talk about each. And all of these we can use cold email to land. So the first one is the classic referral partnership. We have this with multiple other agencies, and we've had some of these relationships for over a year where we're not getting a lead every day, but every month, every couple of months, some of them every quarter. So pretty easy. First, what do your clients often ask for but you don't offer? In my case, they often ask for help with sales. I do lead generation, I don't do sales. Second, I go ahead and make a list of companies providing this. In my case, I have a lot of sales consulting firms, or even like web dev, like people build funnels. But also consider if their customers would be the same people that need my services. Want this to be a win-win. And then I literally send an email. My email reads something like this. Hey, Akash, I see you do sales training. I run a B2B lead gen agency. A lot of my clients get a lot of leads, but struggle to close them. I'm wondering if we could talk about a mutually beneficial relationship where when my clients struggle with sales, I can send them to you. And when you have clients that you're ready to do sales for but lack leads, you can send them to me. Let me know if you want to talk. Literally that. Because we're not selling anything, we don't need to be super creative in our copy. We don't need to use crazy AI. That is what it is. So very simple. Second one is a software partner program, just like Smartlead has the Smartlead partner directory. So first, I make a list of every software I use, and I've done this. And being a bit cheeky, you can also make a list of softwares you don't use because sometimes they'll still accept you. And check if they have partner programs. So if they do, apply through an application link. If they don't, I go on LinkedIn, find the person likely responsible for it, and message them on LinkedIn and email them. And even if I don't have a partner program, I will still ask. And if you don't know what a partner program is, like Smartlead is a partner directory of users that they have verified are experts on the platform. They have a directory of users. And you might appreciate this, Akash. I get like a call, 1 to 2 calls every week from Smartlead's partner directory. I'm going to guess when someone's on support and they get stuck and they ask for help, you probably have trained with support to send a partner directory link. Is that right?
Yep.
Exactly. A lot of companies do the same. An alternate route is even if they don't have a partner directory, it's still very easy to ask to be a referral partner for software. At the end of the day, softwares want retention. And if you can give their clients a better experience, they're probably going to send you people. Sometimes they'll ask for kickback. Normally they don't, they just want retention. So software partner programs have been huge for us. I mean, between all of them, we're booking at least 5 calls a week just from software partner programs. Also, it's passive once it's set up. It's nice because calls just come in. It's beautiful. So that would be software partner programs. Now, the third one is actually the one I've made the most money off, and I think it's used release. It's community and course partnerships. So I like to make a list of courses, communities, think school, WAP, Teachable, Kajabi, or even conferences that have similar audiences to who you sell to. I will then approach the owners of these communities and offer to do a free presentation, something like this. Sometimes it's recurring, and it's a win-win because the owners of these communities want as much value for their students, and you want exposure to various audiences. Like realistically, here there's 100 people that I probably could sell something to in this room that are going to listen to me talk for 1 hour, and that is a super valuable audience. But for Smartlead, hopefully you learn something, you implement it, and you retain on Smartlead longer, right? It's a win-win for both. And sometimes you even get paid to do this. So for this one, I have a couple quick case studies because I've done this a lot. From a 90-minute presentation I gave in a Git web dev clients school community, closed 15 grand in deals. From a 30-minute presentation at SEO conference, my most successful presentation ever, we closed $60,000 in deals. From a 1 hour a month recurring group call and a growing agency course, we closed $20,000 in deals in a year. And from a weekly 1 hour call in a large social media marketing agency group, we closed over $100,000 in deals, and I managed to get paid 50 grand for doing it. It's over 2 years. So this really works very well. How did I get most of these deals? I cold emailed them, right? So the whole idea is we can use cold email not just for demos, but for a lot of cool partnerships. A great example, a lot of you might know the name Iman Godzi. I managed to get a deal coaching in his programs doing this. So like you can get really big names too if you're creative. So our final indirect way of doing sales, then we'll move on to the other topics today, is the interview funnel. This is one of my top 3 acquisition methods. It works so well. I've done this for myself, and I've also ran campaigns doing this for dozens of my clients. And all you need to do is a blog or a podcast, which are both easier than you think. My podcast is literally Zoom recordings of me talking to people for 20 minutes, but I upload to YouTube with no editing and a thumbnail I pay $5 for. A blog could literally be where you just quote people in a larger blog. It's very simple. So let's look at the flow for this. So again, we're going to make a podcast or blog, very basic. The theme should be relevant to your ICP. Mine talks about sales and marketing because people I'm selling to are into sales and marketing. I make a list of top targets. I normally do around 50 to 100 once a quarter. That's the way I run it. And I send personalized cold emails inviting them to be featured. Really simple. It would be like, say, hey, Tina, I saw you on XYZ's podcast and love hearing you talk about how you're using AI automations to improve people's workflow, whatever it may be. We have a podcast where we've talked to people like X, Y, and Z. You seem like a good fit. Would you like to be on it? People love talking about themselves. It's a free PR opportunity. The conversion is really high. Like 1 out of 10 normally say yes, depending how big of titles you're going for. So from there, we set up a 1 hour meeting of people. The first 15 minutes is really great, charismatic, smiley, small talk, right? Whole idea is building rapport. Then we do a 30-minute interview. And then the last 15 minutes, I'm going to ask them questions that I want the reciprocal questions they should ask back, just because if you ask them and they ask you something, to be things that allow me to share about my service. They probably already know who I am at this point too. Generally, around 1 out of 3 interviews will turn into a sales call. But by the time I've had the sales call, this is someone I've spoken to for an hour and I'm already getting on well with. So the conversion is quite high, keeping in mind they're pre-qualified to be invited. And then I also give them content like repurpose. They can go ahead and post and tag me. And even if they aren't interested at that point, I'll ask for referrals or reach out 3 months later. This has been a very strategic channel for me. Again, starting with cold email, where we've done very well doing this. I'm gonna take a break. Akash, anything we want to cover that I've missed there? Any questions in the chat I missed about that we should go over before moving on?
No, I think we'll maybe have the questions where people can shoot their questions directly to you, Michael. I think that could be more useful for them as well. Oh, you can continue, sir.
Okay, great. Well, that was a lot in like 10 minutes in terms of using cold email indirectly. But hopefully those use cases are things maybe to think about because they've worked very well for me. Again, podcast referrals and also the interview funnel. So next up, topic number 2, if you're going to do sales cold emails, here's how to get creative. So obviously we do sales cold emails. They just are a little bit different from most people's. And we also find that our conversions are much better on unique angles, but we do still do these. So 95% of our sales campaigns are based on specific segments with no one-to-one personalization, either AI or manual. And this is how we have consistently won at cold email. There's a million ways to segment. And if you don't know what a segment is, we're just building a list of people that have similar attributes to making sure our message is relevant to them. Talk about that more next slide. And we're just going to have our message match. And there's a lot of ways to do this. So I've just included some broad examples. Now for segmentation, we have 2 core categories. We have logical and we have personal. Personal segmentation is when we're building a list of people that have personal attributes, personal characteristics in common that we can use to relate to them and to break down the barrier of I'm a sales guy. Logical segmentation is going to be there's a logical reason that it makes sense to reach out to them. Some of these are kind of funny. First one is we can make a list of people, assuming our ICP allows this, that have a shared passion or interest. It's probably not shocking, but I like skateboarding. It's like my big thing since I was a child. When I was like 15, 16 years old, I did freelance Facebook ads, and a lot of my clients were skateboard brands and skateboard shops. How did I land them? I cold emailed them and I said, hey, I've been skating my whole life. I really like your brand and I'd love to do marketing for you. Like obviously not that exact copy, but if you're a skateboard company that's a very strong culture, you probably don't want to work with some corporate schmuck is probably what they would say. And then also if you're going to want to work with someone that's a skater. And then on my intro, I now have an icebreaker. It's skateboarding. We've done this with tons of clients. We've done this with clients passionate about triathlons or marathons or swimming or horses or whatever it may be, skincare, fashion. It's just connecting you to a prospect to break down that barrier and also giving you an icebreaker on your call, which ultimately leads to a better conversion. Second one is what we call hometown campaign. We do this for literally every single client we have. Whole idea here is most people want to work with people that are geographically around them. If we look at specifically older generations, how do they choose who to hire? They're hiring somebody that's immediately around them. I'll take my parents. How do they choose their accountant? He goes to the same church as them. How do they choose their attorney? He's in the same city, right? People like to work with people around them. So if you are in a city that you have people you can sell to, it can work great. Now, I've done this for myself, but one of our best converting examples was in Glasgow because there's a very strong national identity there, or regional identity, or city identity, where essentially our client built a list of targets in Glasgow. We mentioned he's from Glasgow, and the call to action was coffee in Glasgow. This campaign is often short-lived because the list can be pretty small, but it always converts very well, specifically that in-person coffee call to action, because you don't get that too much. So next one is a really silly one. I just want to give you like thinking how you can be so creative. I made a list of everybody that has my name that I want to sell to. It was 6 people. I got 3 meetings. I did a whole campaign that was called the Michael Gardiner campaign, where I cold emailed Michael Gardiners. If you have a common name, we've actually done this for a client. We had a client, his name was Joe Smith, which was like so common. We did a whole Joe Smith campaign just to get like your brain thinking and like how you can be creative with this. We can also do a nationality once. We had an accountant in Miami, and he told me that almost all of his clients are Indian. He's Indian. We filtered by common Indian names, and we found that Indian to Indians converted better than like just our generic campaigns. So we end up running all of those campaigns just to other Indians. Like people like working with people like them. We've also done this with religion. We have a client that's a Christian. He's very clear about it. His signature is a Bible verse. He donates a part of profits to missionary organizations. We built a list of Christian companies. Very easy to do. We filtered by ones that were obviously Christian, churches, Christian schools, Christian apparel brands. But if you also look up Christian-owned business directories, you can find directories of Christian founders, and you can just scrape them. So again, all of these things just allow you to have another connection point to a prospect to bridge that gap of, hey, I'm not just a salesperson, I'm a legitimate person. I'm a human here too. Cool. Logical. Upper side of that, we're looking for logical connections that we can put into segments to reach out to people to have a higher relevancy. So, for example, let's say that you are Smartlead. You could figure out a cold email tool that you consider not very good. And if you scraped a list of everybody using it, we don't necessarily need to mention it in our cold email, but we can say, hey, if you're having deliverability problems, come to Smartlead, right? So we could scrape users of a tool that we know has something wrong with it and then cold email them. So that would be like a software filtering example. We could also filter by like someone's advertising status. For example, we have a local business lead generation agency work with where we target people advertising on Groupon. If you don't know Groupon, it's a coupon site that has a very bad deal structure for the business where they normally lose money to acquire customers, and those customers don't come back. So our copy is like, hey, I see you're using Groupon. A lot of our clients used to use Groupon, but they had to discount their services so much. They lost money on first service, and they found that over 80% never come back and end up being a really big loss leader, but they never recoup costs from. If that's the case, I'd love to show you how we run Facebook ads that don't require discounting your services and are profitable for month 1. You see how much more relevant that is than just, hey, do you need lead gen for your landscaping company? Way more relevance. Another thing we could do is legal changes. We have a client that sells safety equipment that's only required in certain states for certain businesses. Florida changed the law a couple of years ago that required gyms to have this specific safety equipment, and it was going to come up in like 3 months. That was a really good reason to reach out and say, hey, you literally need to buy this, buy it from us. Logical reason. Or hiring. If somebody's hiring a head of sales, we could either be like, hey, we could be your fractional head of sales, or maybe we could say, hey, we'll help support the new head of sales. So we could also use that as a trigger. So all of these are just unique segments we can do in campaigns with the goal of, showing, hey, we're either connected personally or we've done our homework, we know who you are. And I also think that this can convert much better than like actual personalization because you're selling on relevance. And especially in industries you get cold emailed a lot. Like I get cold emailed like 30 times a day. Like I know when you're using AI because you all write the same personalized line to me. And it's like, most people are not clever enough to like figure out how to make their AI lines actually come across good. So I think this is a much easier, more sustainable strategy.
That makes sense. I think the segmentation part nailed it, Michael, personally for me, because I don't think everybody thinks this way, right? Because the last point made whole sense. Because sometimes rather than simply selling out your service, when you have the point of relevance, I think it makes a whole lot of difference. Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our last one here, and then we'll go to Q&A. This is the thing I've been having the absolute most fun with. And on pretty much every presentation I do, one of the questions I get is like, how do I get my first client? If you don't have a first client and you want to get a client as fast as possible, this is what I do. So direct mail is performing better than any acquisition channel I've tested in the last decade. Last decade, because I started doing cold email and outbound prospecting in 2014. So long time ago. Um, Here's why I love it. It's expensive. It's a pain in the ass. It's a lot of work. It's really hard to scale. And if you're not based in a country you want to sell to, tough luck, which is why I love it because it's inaccessible and it's tons of work, which means people don't do it.
Do it.
If you're
Yeah.
scared away by that, tough luck. I don't care. I'll keep doing it myself. So very few know about this, and even fewer do it. I would say for every 20 people I recommend do this, one person does, which is great because if you want to do it, it works beautifully. So really quickly, I want to share my first failure of mail and then talk about what made it change. So my first failure was letters. I tried sending handwritten letters with gift cards to people, and I got no meetings after spending like $1,000 on Starbucks gift cards. And I thought about it and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Like I get tons of junk mail. Most people do. If you're not in the US and you're selling to the US, the average American business owner gets like a credit card offer or a loan offer every day and you just throw them away. And I realized I am not standing out whatsoever. So I started sending packages because unless you're a psychopath, if you receive a box, you're going to open it. And that started working really well. And in my boxes, I included one of two things, either a personalized gift to the prospect, because everybody goes to conferences to get a shirt that has someone else's company name on it, and then you wear it to work out, throw it away, right? It's personalized to their name or their company name, or it's funny. I like to be funny a little bit, so that works. So let's talk through it and we'll look at an example. So I will make a list of 500 to 1,000 prospects, and we do this as a service too, by the way. It's our newest service offering. So we do it for ourselves and for our clients. I'll make a list of 500 to 1,000 dream prospects, ideally in a specific segment, going back to this. And then from there, I double verify the addresses. You do not want to waste money here. We sometimes spend up to $100 per person we mail to. This is not cheap. On the low end, it's still like 40, 50. So what I mean by double verify address, I want to confirm the address is on Google Maps and their website, or a directory and their website. Like I want it to be two places. And then I go on Google Maps Street Finder and I actually like little drag and drop person on Google Map where you can see the street view. And I make sure it's not like a random field or like an abandoned lot. Because we do not want to waste money here. And because it's such a small sample, it's not that much work to do. Have your VA do it. And then again, we're thinking of a personalized gift with the company's name on it or the individual's name. It's more expensive, but it converts very well. Or a gag gift that can apply to your ICP. Examples later. Then we buy the item, or we find a vendor that can personalize it, get quotes, buy the item, and all the packaging material required. I like to get really unique, bright packaging material. If any of you were into Pokemon as a kid, remember the holographic Pokemon cards that shine? I get holographic boxes. Like they're
Right.
obnoxious. They're super hard to not pay attention to. Or sometimes I do like hot pink or purple or orange, like really bright boxes or bubble mailers, like large bubble mailers. And then we actually do handwritten cards. We sometimes print, but normally handwritten cards with personalization. So normally the card's fully handwritten and personalized to them. And then we have a printed letter that has more information about our service and a scannable QR code. That scannable QR code goes to a landing page for that specific segment, which has a mini VSL. It obviously addresses them as like, hey, you're probably wondering who sent you the thing in the mail. And then it answers that question. So we pack our items and we send them, and then we do a cold email campaign retargeting people. So because it's such a small sample, we will email people like 20 or 30 times over the course of like 6 months, like a ton of emails to them. We also call everybody who doesn't answer your emails, and we add everybody on LinkedIn who didn't answer your calls. Our conversion on this between ourselves and clients, the best campaign we've run is 5 prospects to get 1 meeting. The worst campaign we have run between doing this for done this for about 10 people now. It's a newer service. Was 20 prospects to one meeting. Like the conversions are insane. Average is about 10 people to reach out to get a meeting. So it converts at an unbelievably high rate. Now, another note on this, if you sell something that's low ticket, probably doesn't make sense. But if you sell to enterprise, this is even better. Cold email deliverability to enterprise is so hard, not only because of just like deliverability to Outlook, but like if you're cold emailing Nike, Nike has like super advanced corporate spam filters. Cash, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's like if if you're cold emailing NASA, NASA's smart enough to not let your cold email get through, even if everything you do right. You're not going to be able to. Or most like Fortune 500, like probably not going to go through just because of their own spam filters, nothing to do with deliverability. Mail goes through. When you mail to big companies, it goes to a sorter who then goes to an assistant. And if an assistant opens it and thinks it's fun enough or personalized, it goes to decision maker. So probably don't do this if you sell something that's $500 a month for small businesses. But if you sell something where your lifetime value is like $10,000 plus, especially if you sell to larger companies, this is great. Your cost per meeting is probably going to be like $400 to $1,500. But a lot of the meetings you can get are people that like you otherwise just couldn't get meetings with.
Right.
So
And one question there, Michael, how long would you typically wait to launch the associated email campaign after directly emailing them?
one day after they get the package. So you can use we use this, what is a shipping tool called? Pirate Ship. There's like a discount mail service we use that has like a they have like an API where you can like have Slack notifications when it arrives. So we do it one day after.
Right. Thank you.
Another reason that's important, in our first email is literally like, hey Akash, I'm the guy that sent you the thing, whatever it is, in the mail. Just checking, did you get it?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people don't check for mail, or maybe they have a PO box. Maybe they have a PO box and they just they just didn't get it. For the name of a tool, I'm pretty sure it's Pirate Ship. They don't do direct mail, by the way. It's just where I buy my labels. It's like, let me just check really quick. I know the face of it. I have a fulfillment person. Yeah, Pirate Ship. Thank you for confirming, Jen. Yeah, what's crazy really quick is like I don't know how their business exists. I used to pay full price for packaging, but like Pirate Ship was literally the same thing and it's like half off. And that saved us so much money. I have no idea how it works, but it does. So yeah, that is the process. Now let's brainstorm some ideas. So I'm actually not going to give away my campaigns and client campaigns on this. With my clients, I do sign a non-disclosure on it, and frankly, mine are cooking too much for me to share right now. But let's do a fun example for Smartlead, and then maybe for a couple of you. So just for fun, like 2 or 3 people in the chat, write down what do you sell and who do you sell it to. But let's talk about Smartlead while people are typing that out, and we can talk about some use cases. So um, let's say Smartlead. Who would be a great customer for them? Cold email agencies, because you're getting not one company as a client, but a bunch. So we'll build a list of cold email agencies. First thing we need to do is we need to cross-check they're not using Smartlead, because Smartlead already sends gifts to power users. Thank you for the hoodie. It doesn't fit, unfortunately, but I do have it. My girlfriend wears it. She doesn't
Right.
quite know what Smartlead is, but she's happy to wear it. And the plaque. I do have the plaque. I am gonna put it up on the wall. I just bought this house, so it's not set up, but the Smartlead plaque will go there.
And
Um,
we'll get you the right size next time, Michael.
yes. I'm just 6'7", so I don't fit in anything, so it's not your fault. All right. Gift ideas. So what could we do? We could send people a garbage can because their emails are probably going to spam, so they might as well have a garbage can to throw them away before they go out, right? That's funny. It's not personalized, but it'd be funny. A spam reference. Now, what would a personalized one? We could get like one of those little soccer trophies you get or football trophies and give them like a cash cold email every year, parentheses after partnering or Smartly, like a physical trophy. It's something that's his name on it. You can put it on the back. It's silly, right? These are the kind of things we do. So let's look at some in the chat. Um, let's see. I'm just reading through. I'm just going to answer the ones that I have ideas like the most immediate with. So let's see. Electronic. Okay, electronic health records for camps and schools. I'm just gonna guess that the electronic health records are replacing paper records. Is that correct, Zach? It's like an organizational efficiency thing, right? Um, paper, okay. What if you sent them like a package that was just like 800 printed documents, and it was just super messy. And then you had a handwritten card and says, if your filing cabinets look like this, we need to talk, right? So it's just like a massive package of like maybe you even buy like some crappy plastic drawer, the ones you can buy at Walmart, and you ship it to people and just fill it with messy papers crumpled up. And you could even write on a Sharpie marker on the little plastic container, if your filing system looks like this, we really need to talk. That would be an example. Let's see. What else do we have? Um, Okay, Salesforce marketing consulting. So Salesforce, the thing I think about Salesforce, it's a huge pain in the ass. Salesforce is like the only CRM that needs like an IT genius to change anything. I don't like Salesforce. And I think most people who are selling to are probably frustrated of it. Here's what you can do. You take a pill bottle. I don't have a pill bottle in front of me, but I have a candle. Looks kind of like this. Take a pill bottle and you can do custom labels for pill bottles. How do I know this? This is one of the campaigns I'm doing. And the title of the pill bottle will be like, uh, headache pills for dealing with Salesforce. And the ingredients on the pill bottle are what you offer to fix their Salesforce problems. So you send them a prescription for their Salesforce problems. The prescription, the fix is you. Silly, stupid, dumb, hilarious, works. That one's pretty cheap. It's doing very well for one of our clients. Let's do one more here. Let's see. Um, um, Okay, I'm just checking which one comes to mind immediately. Okay, I like this one. Let's do bookkeeping and accounting. We can do the same garbage can one. You could send people a lighter, a matchbook, or you could send them a garbage can. A garbage can, because if they don't work with you, we're throwing money away every year. Or you could send them a lighter and a candle, because they might as well be burning their money if they're not working with you because they're paying way too much in taxes. So there's a few fun ideas, personalized or whatever, but it's like, really, if someone gets that and they're your right ICP and you have a good offer, like they're gonna feel bad not responding. So I'm gonna breeze through the rest of these slides. We have some time for Q&A. So thank you for attending my tech talk. My favorite movie is Borat, in case you're curious. Thank you, Smartlead, Mikash, and the team for the invite. If you want to learn more about what I do, I'm sure this will be listed somewhere. But my YouTube channel is Michael Gardiner, B2B Strategies. Maybe if you could throw that in a chat, Akash, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
If you want to work with me, we do cold email, direct mail, and also Upwork applications. We do all this weird, unique stuff. DFYmeetings.com, my agency, growb2b.io, my consultancy. So questions, there we go. We got like 15 minutes. I can also drop those links actually really quick. I have them saved here. So here is my YouTube if you want to subscribe, and I'll drop the other ones. And then let's run through some questions. This was fun.
Awesome. Awesome, folks. The floor is open for questions. If you have a question, click on the React icon at the center bottom, raise your hand. I'll unmute you and turn on the spotlight. You can ask your questions directly to Michael. I think Pirate Ship is going to see some unusual traffic today. There we go. Rahul, if you can turn on your video. Rahul, I'll spotlight you, mate. Do you want to turn on
Hey,
your
Michael.
There you go.
Michael,
Hey.
nice to see you. Actually, we're using Smartlead and we're using it in combination with Clay. And what we're doing is we're kind of enriching, all the details through Clay. We're personalizing it through Clay, and then we're using Smartlead to basically kind of integrate Clay with Smartlead to send out the emails. But somehow we're not kind of getting the responses, but that we kind of identified that we should get in spite of that personalization. I'm just kind of wondering. I'll certainly look at incorporating these ideas that you've given. The question more like is there anything different that we can do with AI tools, to kind of personalize and really kind of leverage them to get responses?
So the question was on segmentation, I'm sorry?
The question was how best we can use AI tools for segmentation, personalization, and any hacks
Okay.
that
Yeah.
you can suggest that we can use with AI tools.
So for segmentation, honestly, it depends on the list you're building. For example, maybe we're scraping a directory and we might use instant data scraper to scrape it. Or if we're building a list of like a personal connection, it's as easy as going on Apollo and just putting in your a keyword like skateboarding or your hometown. So the cool thing of like the segmenting strategy I do is it's really pretty low tech. Like I don't like technology. I'm good enough at it to do my job, and I hire people that are great at it. But like, I just kind of follow the KISS model, keep it simple, stupid. Because with tech, I am a bit stupid. So there isn't like a cool AI tool or like way we do it. It's just all based on we figure out the segment and we then build the list around it and write the copy to it.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Picking a question from the chat. One, what CRM do you pair Smartlead with?
I use Airtable. I love Airtable. It's not necessarily a CRM, but you can build anything in it. My beef with some CRMs is they have too many buttons and too many things, and I waste my time and get pissed off. Again, I love low tech. Like I would write everything on paper if I could. So Airtable, it's beautiful. I set up a really basic Kanban board, which is just like the drag and drop project management boards. We have thousands of records in it, and it still works great. You can set up super simple automations with Zapier to like ping you in Slack. I love it.
Awesome. Do you turn off open tracking?
I do turn off open tracking.
And how do you make sure that you have the direct address for the prospects?
Yeah, so two things. We do a double verification, which we try to find the address two places. And then we also use the Google Maps Street View where we like try to see that there's a business. Now, some industries will naturally be harder to find. Like take like agencies. Like a lot of them are actually overseas agencies that are using like a PO box. They want to look like American agencies. So sometimes we'll like search like co-working space or virtual office or office rental over Google Maps to try to eliminate those. And it's even better if you're targeting someone that like you can actually see the storefront. Like if you're targeting like, I don't know, let's say like a gym, it's really easy to check. But for agencies or e-commerce, it can be a little bit trickier. Now, here's the cool thing. We did an e-commerce campaign and we actually found a lot of people were getting the package sent to their fulfillment centers because they use a logistics center to handle the returns. So all the addresses of the logistics centers. So when we emailed them, we're like, hey, did you get the thing? They're like, no, what are you talking about? And then they're like, we sent you this. And they're like, oh yeah, we checked with our logistics center and they got it there. That's cool. So sometimes they didn't even actually get it themselves, but the email prompted them to ask to then talk to the logistics center. So, and also some of them just aren't going to make it through. Like some of them just won't get delivered to people or never get seen.
Right.
Also, some get returned to you where like the address is incorrect. If you get something returned and it's like generic, we use it for someone else. If you get something that's returned and it has their name on it, I take a photo of me holding it next to my face and I start sending that to them. Be like, I'm trying to get this to you desperately.
Right. Win-win. The next question for you, Michael. What's your favorite agencies? What is your agency's favorite ICP industry?
Super low tech, boring businesses that hate the internet and don't do any cold emails. So like manufacturing, medical devices, certain financial services. Like my favorite clients are like middle-aged guys and women that aren't interested in social media, that spend the afternoons with their family and have a flip phone. Like they're just awesome because people in our industry don't do cold email, meaning the competition's super low. Also, they tend to be really low maintenance clients. I don't only work with them. I also have like agencies and consultants and a bunch of other things, but I find that they're my favorite to work with just because it's so easy to get them results. And often there's just no competition. Like a random example, I have a client that does biohazard waste disposal. So that can mean a lot of things. It can mean, from a hospital or a doctor, like the red trash cans they put needles in. Also for a tattoo shop, they have needles. It could be a lot of things, right? Like how many people do cold email for like medical waste and bio waste disposal? Like it's pretty uncommon. So those are my favorite.
Awesome. Any more questions, folks? If yes, drop it on the chat or you can raise your hands. We'll get them answered for you.
Yeah, happy to go over as many as we can until the end of the timer here.
Any more questions?
We could also look at some of the other companies for mail ideas if we don't have any others.
Yep. I think there was one question from Peter. Let me quickly get it for you, Michael.
Sure. Why is the plant shaking in the background? Because I have a fan. Yeah, it's hot in Thailand. How about cold email marketing for a marketing mobile attribution software. Marketing mobile attribution software. Okay. Just to make sure you're like a high-roast competitor. Is that correct, Victor? Tracking performance for apps. Can we unmute Victor? That sounds like a fun
Yep.
conversation to have.
There we go. Give me a quick minute. Victor, can you unmute yourself?
All right. Yeah, I can hear it. Can you guys hear me fine? Like I'm at a
Yeah.
public space right now.
All
No,
good.
you're
I don't
good.
know if my AirPods are doing a good job at noise canceling.
No,
All
all
right.
good.
So awesome. Michael, by the way, similarity, I'm 6'5", you're 6'7", so I was already thinking about code emailing you about that.
Yeah, there
Now,
you
but
go.
and just to give you some clarity. So basically we're a platform that run basically and it's more two businesses. One is basically a marketing term for performance data is SaaS, obviously, that tracks campaign for paid ads and everything for user acquisition in the mobile.
Okay. So it could be like the software app equivalent of like a high roast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So is the question on mail ideas or cold email ideas for it?
I'd say for cold email because most people that I reach out to are remote. So it's
Sure.
quite hard to send some.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the perfect company be somebody that owns an app on the App Store, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the most basic campaign you're probably running would be to filter app companies that are running ads and having specific messaging to them. The messaging there would be, I don't know, it could be something like, "Hey Victor, came across your ads. You're running for company name. We've overseen millions in ad spend, and we've found that not having proper attribution means you're paying overpaying by 20%. Would you be open to a quick audit that checks this for you?" So like the most basic idea would just be companies already running ads. Um, the another idea you could do is to find some type of like, for example, do you know Product Hunt?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the name of it. You said product
Product
what?
Hunt? Product Hunt?
Oh, I don't know. Never used it.
Okay. So there's a few different directories for like launching apps or softwares. Like Product Hunt is one, AppSumo is one, and essentially, or even like people can do like apps on Kickstarter. You can even do apps and softwares on Kickstarter, I'm pretty sure. So you could also find like one of these like launch or startup sites where companies are getting featured and are getting a lot of users, and you could do your messaging around it. For example, let's take like Kickstarter. They do have a software category here. It's a crowdfunding site. You can build a list of people that just received funding, and you're like, it'd be like, "Hey Victor, now that you have, hey Victor, now that congratulations on a successful campaign on Kickstarter. Now that you have initial funding and you've acquired your first users, what plans do you have to sustain it?" For context, we help companies with our advertising and making sure we're tracking is accurate, right? It's contextualized. They just raise money. Or AppSumo is a company that helps like small softwares launch to massive audiences, normally not always on the best deals for a software company. So the angle here could be like, if you want to acquire customers without giving away lifetime deals and mega discounts, we can help make sure your ads are tracking at 20% lower than what your competitors are paying. Or Product Hunt could be, "Hey, congratulations on the feature on Product Hunt. I'm sure you're getting a lot of new users, but when the hype dies down, what do you have to sustain it?" Right? So you could do all three of those campaigns or like companies that are running ads. It doesn't necessarily need to be like crazy creative. It just needs to add a bit more context than just reaching out with no reason. And I also find that added relevance tends to help get past spam filters a little bit because they're also trying to determine like, is it a sales email or not? And that connection point can help push past a bit.
Got it. No, that's very helpful. That's very helpful. I appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Victor, have a good day and thanks for the question.
All right. Thank you.
Sweet. Well,
Awesome.
Akash, we're coming up here on time, and yeah,
Absolutely. We are on time. And I think we have, if you have time for one last question,
Let's do it.
Michael, Peter had a question, which is, can you comment on what segments direct mail works for and what it doesn't work for? For example, please comment on selling SaaS to IT via direct mail.
Yeah, so I mean, direct mail has worked for everybody we've tried it for. It just doesn't make sense price-wise. So if you're selling a software solution, you said?
Mm-hmm. So it's
Okay.
basically selling SaaS to IT. Yes.
If you were selling a SaaS and it's like $49 a month and there's no enterprise option and you're not like VC funded with $1 million to burn, probably don't do it. If if your lifetime value is over 10,000, that'd be a good idea. Or even better, if it's like enterprise where it's like seat based and like an enterprise account gets you 500 people paying $49 a month, that would make sense. Industry wise, like I haven't tested outside of the US, but assuming you're targeting the US, it's worked for pretty much everybody. It just does have a higher cost per meeting than some other channels. So it's more about price point. Business types, you just have to do the address verification and then you should be okay. I mean, even for the ones that have like a lower success rate, like agencies or ecom, we still do get results. It's just the results can be like them not getting the package, but being curious what you sent them to then respond to book a call.
Right. I think Peter also has a follow-up question. And do you think the dimensional box is key versus
100%.
postcard? Yeah. Got it.
100%. I have completely failed at postcards and letters and burned all the money I have spent on them. So yes, very much so. Bubble mailers and boxes. Bubble mailers and boxes.
Understood. Thank you, Michael. That's all the questions we had. And one announcement from Smartlead's end is for people who are looking for multi-channel outreach, LinkedIn and cold emails. Smartlead is live with the HeyReach integration. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's robust. Michael, thank you so much for your insights. Super insightful. Thank you so much for taking the time to join the session. One of many. Anything from your end before we part ways?
Thank you very much. Feel free to find my YouTube. From my YouTube, you can find my Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything else you want to. And if you're in Chiang Mai, genuinely, grab a coffee. So yeah, thanks, Akash.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And as you always say, 3 consistent things in life: death, taxes, and office hours every Thursday. See you all on the next one. Ciao. Bye-bye.